I sit at the kitchen table. I open my laptop. I open a news article about mothers and family life. Then I scroll down. I read the comments below the article. One comment reads, "Stay-at-home moms are lazy. They just stay home and rest, while others work hard." Another comment says, "You chose to stay home. Don't complain about money, or respect later." My chest feels cold. My eyes go dark. I feel a sharp hurt inside. I think about all my days. I think about mornings I woke early. I think about cooking breakfast, washing dishes, cleaning floors, packing lunch, driving children to school, helping with homework, going to parent meetings, folding laundry late at night. I remember nights when I stayed by a child's bed. I sat there when they cried. I held their hand. I checked fever. I hugged them tight. I told them everything will be okay. I wiped tears. I cleaned clothes. I cleaned spills. I did unending tasks. I did invisible work. Now, I close the browser. My hands shake a little. I stare at the kitchen table. I stare at empty mugs. I stare at the quiet house. The house is too quiet. The rooms are empty. I feel lost. I walk slowly to the closet in my bedroom. I open it. I see old jackets, worn shirts, scuffed shoes. I see simple clothes, clothes for errands and chores. I see a scarf, a bag, nothing special. Clothes of a woman who worked hard in silence. I look in a small mirror on the wall. I see a woman. Her eyes are soft. Her face is tired. Her hair is a little gray. Her hands are gentle. Her steps are slow. I see a woman who tried. I see a woman who gave everything to her family. But I also see tiredness. I see regret. I think of my husband. He leaves for work early every morning. He wears a suit. He drives a car to a tall office building. He rides an elevator. He meets people. He speaks with confidence. He signs papers. He earns respect. He earns money. He earns status. I think of friends from college. I see their names on the screen. Manager, director, vice president. I see their big houses, nice cars, trips abroad. I see their busy lives, full of work, meetings, parties. I see their success. I see what I might have had. I feel envy. I feel pain. I feel shame. I feel emptiness. I compare their lives to mine. I compare their suits to my plain clothes. Their calendars full of meetings, my days empty. I compare their busy dinners with friends to my lonely dinners at home. I remember when I was young. I studied hard. I dreamed of a job. I studied in college. I had hope. I had ambition. I wanted a career. I wanted to build my own life. Then, I got married. I had children. I chose to stay at home. I told myself, I did it for love. For family. I told myself, it was right. But now I ask, did I give up too much? I sit down on the bed. I close my eyes. I feel a deep ache. I feel regret. I feel loss. I feel old dreams slipping away. I feel a hole inside, where dreams once lived. The night is quiet. The house is dark. I hear no voices. I hear no laughter. I hear no footsteps. I hear my own breath. I breathe in. I breathe out. I stare at my hands. I remember what they did. They cooked, cleaned, held, cried, loved. Still I ask, who am I now? What is left of me? I stay silent. I stay in my darkness. I stay in my pain. I stay in my lonely room. I do not plan. I do not hope. I do not promise. I only feel. I only remember. I only exist. And in the silence, I taste the sting of what I lost. After a few days, I go out. I walk to a small cafe downtown. I agreed to meet a few friends there. Friends I knew from long ago. We once shared hopes and plans. I open the cafe door. I see them at a table, by the window. They wave me over. I feel a small flutter. Maybe this meeting will feel good. They chat like nothing changed. They talk about their jobs, their busy weeks, their big plans. One woman talks about a promotion she just got. She smiles and shows a photo of a new apartment she bought. Another woman laughs about her daughter's school performance and future dreams. Others talk about business trips, weekend outings, friends they meet. I sit. I nod. I smile. I try to join. I ask a few polite questions. But their talk moves fast. Work, success, plans. I find no place for me in their talk. Their words pass like wind. I cannot catch them. I glance at the woman next to me, a friend who was always kind. I lean forward and say quietly, I have been thinking. Maybe I try something small. A part-time work. Something, just to feel I am not invisible. My voice shakes a little. I look at her. She shrugs softly. She shakes her head. She says, we already raised our children. We stayed home. We did the hard job. Now, maybe that's all we needed. Now our husbands have jobs, kids go to school. That's enough. She sighs like, it's settled. Her words are gentle. Her tone calm. She does not mock me. She does not insult me. But inside, I feel as if someone closed a door behind me. Quietly. No noise, just a final click. I swallow. I nod. I force a small smile. I say, yes, you're right. Because I cannot argue. I have nothing to offer. I feel empty. I feel old. The group laughs again. They speak about vacations, plans for next month, work dinners. They ask each other about children's achievements, home repairs, new hobbies. The talk grows louder. The chairs scrape the floor. The cafe smells like coffee and cakes. I sip my coffee. The warmth enters my hands. But my heart feels cold. I look at the bright windows beyond the cafe. Outside cars pass. People walk quickly. They seem busy, alive. I feel distance. A line between their world and mine. I pay the bill. I leave the cafe without words. I step out into the afternoon light. The wind touches my face. I pull my coat tight. I walk slowly down the street. Each step is heavy. I think, maybe I should never have come. Maybe this was a mistake. At home, I sit at the table, with a small lamp on. The room feels colder than before. The silence presses me. I close my eyes. I remember their laughter, their plans, their easy talk. I whisper in the dark. I am still here. But I feel I lost. I do not try to fix anything. I do not comfort myself. I just let the emptiness settle in. I let the pain rest heavy on my chest. Tonight, I sleep with heavy thoughts. I dream of nothing. I wake with a quiet ache. And in this ache, I know the world has moved. I stayed behind. A week later, I sit at my small dining table. I open my laptop. I search for part-time jobs. I type cafe assistant, office clerk, shop helper. I see a listing for a cafe job. I think, maybe I can do this. I can try. I attach my resume. I click send. 2 days later, I open an email. It says, "Thank you for your application. We are sorry, but we chose someone else for the job. Good luck in your job search." No reason about age. No harsh words. Just a polite refusal. I close the email. My chest feels tight. I think, other candidates, whose schedule and experience match. That feels like code. Like I was not right for them. I try again. I find an office helper job. Simple tasks, filing, answering calls, basic admin. I send my application. Then, I wait. Days pass. No reply. No call. No message. I hope, but nothing comes. I walk to the kitchen. I make tea. I look out the window. Outside the street is quiet. I stare at the trees and empty road. The house is quiet too. I think. Maybe I am too old. Maybe I have no chance. Maybe I am invisible to employers. I cry. I sit on a small chair. I cover my face with my hands. I cry because I tried. I cry because I failed. I cry because I feel useless. I remember my past. I raised children. I kept a home. I worked, even when no one saw. I cared, cooked, cleaned, helped. But now, that work does not count. It does not matter. My husband comes home late. He asks,
"How was your day?"
I force a smile. I say, "Okay." I look down. I think he doesn't know. He does not guess. That night, I open my laptop again. I search again. I send more applications. I wait. I send more. I wait. I lie in bed. I turn off the lamp. The dark is heavy. I do not sleep. I stare at the ceiling. I ask myself, is there no place for me? I do not answer. I only feel. I spend days on the sofa. I watch TV, without any plan. I do nothing. I feel empty. I feel tired. I stop cooking. I stop cleaning. I ignore the house. I ignore the mess. I ignore my phone. I sit and stare. I think. I was a housewife. I raised children. I kept our home. But now, I have no job. I have no work outside. I feel useless. I feel lost. One Saturday evening, my husband looks at me. He says,
"You've been quiet these days. Is something wrong?"
I shake my head. I just sit. I breathe. Then tears come. I say softly, many people treat housewives like they do nothing. They forget all the housework we did for many years. My voice shakes. I continue. I wanted a career like you. I wanted a life of my own. But I had to stay home. I had to care for our children and our home. I look at him. I say, you worked hard at your job. I took care of the house and our children. Now, you are a respected man in society. But to society, I feel I am nothing. I feel invisible. I cry. I cry for lost time. I cry for lost dreams. I cry because I feel worthless. My husband stands. He comes close. He hugs me. He holds me, quietly. I lean on him. I cry more. After a while, he says.
This may sound simple, but you're not just a housewife. You held our home. You cared for me and our children. I saw what you did. I know how hard you worked. No matter what others say, I know you are important.
He wipes my tears. He holds my hand.
You did real work. You are not useless. You are valuable to me and our family.
I feel a small warmth in my heart. The sadness is still there. The pain is still there. But the weight feels lighter. He then says gently,
If you want, you can try to find a small job again. Sending resumes may help. It may help you see what the world is now. Many people, even young people, find it hard to get a job these days. Trying is not wrong. We can try together.
I nod. I swallow hard. I try to believe him. I feel a small hope. That night I lie in bed. The room is dark. I think about his words. I think about my feelings. I think of tomorrow. I close my eyes. I say quietly, I will try. I will try again. I do not plan big dreams yet. I do not expect big changes. But I promise to try. I promise to send applications. I promise to try to find a small job. I promise to rebuild a little of myself. Every day, I open my laptop. I go to a job site. I look for part-time jobs. I check office helper, library helper, shop assistant. I watch the screen. I read the ads. Sometimes I feel hope. When I see a job that seems okay, I send my resume. I click send. Then I wait. Sometimes I call the place. I speak quietly. I ask, hello, can you tell me what kind of person you need for this job? The voice answers kindly. I try to explain my background. But after a short talk, I understand they need someone not like me. Maybe younger, maybe with recent experience. I hang up. Many times, I do this. Many times, I get no reply. I get no call. I get no second email. I wait. I check the phone. Nothing. After many days, I feel tired. I feel discouraged. I think, maybe I am too old. Maybe I have no chance. Maybe this world changed too much while I was raising children. Then, one day, I see a notice from a local library. They ask for volunteer helpers. Short time, few hours per week, simple tasks. Shelving books, organizing rooms. I think, maybe this is possible. I send a volunteer form. I wait. The library calls me. They say, I can start next week. I feel nervous. I feel hopeful. On my first day, I go to the library. I wear simple clothes. I carry a small bag. I knock at the door. A kind librarian meets me. She smiles. She gives me simple tasks. Put books on shelves. Check book labels. Clean reading rooms. I try my best. I move slowly. I read book titles, attach labels, push heavy carts of books. The work is quiet. The work is small. But I do it. Later, the librarian watches me. She says,
"You are careful. Thank you."
She asks me to do slightly harder tasks. Sort returned books. Use the library computer. Check records. I learn fast. I learn to use basic software. Email program. Spreadsheet. Simple database. I feel strange and old. But I try. I watch how librarian does it. Then I copy. At home, I open a book on office software. I read. I practice. I try to type, copy, save. I test functions. I try again the next day. I keep practicing. A few days later, I go to the library. I finish tasks faster. I finish without mistakes. The librarian nods at me. She says,
"Good job."
Her eyes are kind. I feel a small light inside me. A small hope. Not pride or big dream. Just a small hope. I think. Maybe I still have something. Maybe I can still work. At night, I lie in bed. I think of my day. I think of the books, the labels, the quiet rows of shelves. I think of the dusty carts I pushed. My body is tired. My back hurts. But I feel alive. I feel useful. I close my eyes. I whisper. Maybe this is a place for me. A few weeks after, I started volunteering at the library. I work hard every time I go. I shelve books. I check returns. I use the library computer. I learn to use files and simple software. I try to do everything well. One day, the library manager calls me after work. She says,
"We are going to hire a part-time helper soon. Would you like to apply?"
My heart jumps. I say yes. I feel a little fear, a little hope. I feel alive again. I start my part-time work. I get a small pay. The money is small, but I feel proud. I did something real. I earned it with my hands. The manager sees me, studying the computer system, after hours. She nods. She says,
"If you keep learning office software, you might get more opportunities."
I look at her. I close the computer. I feel a warm spark inside. I think. Maybe I still have a chance. One weekend, I go to a cafe. I bring a book about office work and computer skills. I sit at a table by the window. I read quietly. I sip coffee. I feel calm. My friend arrives and sits across from me. She is someone I respected for a long time. She worked at a company for many years. She had her own skills. She seemed stable. I looked up to her once. She sees me. She smiles. She asks,
What are you reading?
I feel shy. I close the book slowly. I say, I started working at the library. Part-time. I am trying to rebuild, little by little. I'm reading about office work to learn new skills. She nods. She looks at her coffee. I look at her and say softly, sometimes I think, if I had kept working like you, maybe my life would look better now. Maybe I would feel stronger. I admit, I was always a little jealous of you. I pause. She stirs her drink slowly. Her face changes. She seems a bit sad. She looks away for a moment. She looks at me with soft eyes. She says,
Don't think my life is perfect, just because I have a job.
I blink. I wait. She continues,
Yes, I have a job, and I earn money. But I miss many things. I work long hours. I miss family dinners. I'm often tired. Sometimes I think, is this all worth it? Many working moms pay a price.
She pauses. She sips her drink. Then, she speaks again.
I was once jealous of you. I thought you had a quiet life. But now I know, each life has its hard parts. Working or staying home, none is easy. You chose different. You cared for your children, you helped family when they needed rest. That was important. Maybe more important than many things I do now.
She gives me a small, kind smile. I feel a shock in my mind. I thought her life was perfect. Now I see, it has its costs too. She takes my hand gently.
We all pay a price. Work or home, each path has gain and loss. Your time at home gave children love, comfort, safety. That is real value.
I nod slowly. I ask quietly, do you regret your choice? She shakes her head.
No. I did what I had to. But I'm not living a picture perfect life. I'm just living. Always choosing, balancing. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I feel tired.
We sit quietly for a moment. Outside, people walk. Inside, soft music and coffee smell. I say, thank you. I forgot those things. I forgot that homework, mother's care, are not nothing. She smiles softly. She squeezes my hand.
You are not alone. We are different, but we share this life.
I stand. I hug her. I whisper. Let's meet again soon. After that talk, I go home. I sit on the couch. I think of our talk. I think. Maybe I judged value wrong. Maybe I judged life by job and money. I think about the years I was at home with children. I remember bedtime stories, school lunches, small talks, healthy meals, quiet nights when they needed love, storms I calmed, tears I dried. I remember those days. I was present. I was patient. I was there when they needed me. I was not earning money, but I was building memories. I was building trust. I was building safety. I think. Maybe those years were not a waste. Maybe they were my strength. My flexibility. My understanding. My empathy. I feel a gentle lift in my heart. I understand. I have had good things. I have had skills. I have had a family that depends on me. I have had time when others were exhausted. I have had patience. I have had calm. I don't know what future will bring. I don't know if I will get a better job. I don't know if I will be rich or famous. But I know this. I am not worthless. I am not just a housewife. I am a woman with history, with skills, with love, with patience. And now with small work and new hope. I breathe slowly. I think. Maybe this is enough for now. Maybe this small step is enough. I smile softly. I whisper. I already have so much. I am enough. I wake in the morning. Light comes through the window. I sit on the edge of the bed. I breathe slowly. I think about recent days. My library work, the volunteering, the small steps I took. I also think about the years I spent caring for my children, cooking meals, holding the home together. I realize I already hold many blessings. I have a family I love. I carry memories, skills, care, and patience inside me. I tried hard. I gave my best. I stand and look in the mirror. I see a woman who lived, loved, and did her duty. I feel calm. I feel real. I remember how I used to compare myself with others. People with stable jobs, big salaries, busy lives. I felt small and empty. I judged myself too harshly. Now, I understand my value doesn't come only from a job or money. My worth was not gone because I paused my career. My value is mine, always. I walk to the kitchen. I open the cupboard. I take a cup of tea and pour hot water. Steam rises slowly. I hold the cup with both hands. I think. I will keep trying new things. I will keep learning, keep showing up. But even if things don't change, even if I never get the big job, I will still matter. I will still be enough. I sit at the table. I breathe deeply. I whisper to myself. I am enough. I am valuable. I am me. Outside, birds sing in the morning. I listen. I feel a gentle hope. Not a loud hope. A soft, steady one. I raise my cup, with a small smile. I say quietly, thank you for what I have. Thank you for myself. Then, I start my day. And I keep going.